Olá malta, sejam bem-vindos a mais um vídeo aqui do canal. O meu nome é Maximiano Janfar e hoje estou aqui mais uma vez para reagir a um vídeo sobre a cidade mais fria do planeta, que chega a medir 90 graus negativos. E esta cidade está localizada na Sibéria, no polo norte do planeta. Então, acompanhem o vídeo até o final, se inscrevam e não se esqueçam de dar likes para ajudar no crescimento deste canal.
Siri, what is the temperature?
It's minus 47 degrees outside.
Air temperature in Amsterdam?
Então, o autor desse vídeo aí, quem fez esse vlog, está a perguntar a Siri que é aquele programa do iOS, do iPhone, da Apple, e a Siri responde que esta cidade, que se chama Yakutsk, está a medir menos de 47 graus Fahrenheit. Então, isso para ele. Então, vamos acompanhar aí o vídeo.
Okay, negative 14.8 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 20 degrees Celsius. Here it is negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 47 degrees Celsius. Our
Então, essa cidade é da Sibéria. Então, eles perguntaram quantos graus essa cidade estava a medir naquele dia. Então, a Siri respondeu que estava a medir menos de 47 graus. Tá muito frio, hein?
plants are not used this, that's why we're coughing. The weather here is very cold and dry. There's a large population here, approximately 300,000 inhabitants. Yakutsk is the capital of Sakha Republic, an autonomous region that is allied with Russia, 280 miles away from the North Pole. Since this place is the most northeastern point of Siberia, it is very much isolated from the rest of the world.
Na Sibéria.
Outside temperature is around negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit. The boiling water is about 212 degrees Fahrenheit. As you see, it instantly turns into ice crystals.
Só para ver, ele lançou um copo de água para cima. Antes que a água caísse para o chão, ficou toda congelada. Só para vocês verem quanto é frio.
The lowest air temperature ever measured in this region, negative 96.16 degrees Fahrenheit. It is as if it belongs.
E só para ver, eu estou conseguindo ver que conseguiu lavar uma camisa em menos de minutos. Ela conseguiu ficar congelada inteiramente.
To another planet. A banana left outside can turn into a hammer in minutes. People cannot wear metal frame
Até as pupilas dos olhos ficaram todas congeladas. Poxa.
glasses here because the metal could stick to their skin. And if they wanted to take off their glasses, their flesh might be teared out. This is a piece of meat that looks very much like human flesh. Let's just put it in contact with metal. As you can see, these are natural gas pipes, and they have to be laid above the ground because the underground is frozen with ice. There is actually a 100-foot thick mass of ice under the city. Look, this river is completely frozen.
Ele está explicando ali que aquela neve toda que está ali do outro lado é um rio completamente congelado, que nos tempos de calor fica bem recheada de água, mas agora tudo está congelado.
During the Soviet era, people who contradicted Stalin's ideas were exiled to Sakha Republic region. They were politicians, businessmen, etc. As a matter of fact, some of these people who live in Yakutsk right now are their grandchildren. So this place used to be land of exile. Today there is a city life going on. But we could call this life an ice hell. It pushes the limits of human nature. No matter how much we bundle up, nothing is enough to keep our bodies warm. if you have a car here, you have a big problem. Winter lasts for 6 to 7 months.
E ele tá dizendo que se tu tens um carro naquela cidade, tu tens um grande problema, porque os carros conseguem ficar congelados completamente. E para que isso não aconteça, eles vão ter ou têm que deixar os carros ligados, com o motor ligado, trabalhando durante toda a noite. Acompanhem para ver.
Here. And in that time, you can never drive your car. If you insist on driving it, you can never start your vehicle's engine. For example, the car with a running engine you can see here is empty. There is nobody inside. There are hundreds of cars like this. The reason why the engine is running, if it stops, it can be completely covered with ice, and the engine oil will freeze. As you can see, the owner of this vehicle must have decided not to run his or her car for a while, just after 20 minutes of the engine being off. It is
E eu estou a explicar se por acaso alguém ou um motorista esquece de ligar o carro e deixar assim, o óleo do motor fica congelado e quando fica congelado assim o carro não tem como ser dirigido, não tem como andar, provocando graves problemas. Então a melhor solução é deixar o carro ligado perante toda a noite.
common to give up hope. Another frozen car here, waiting to be reused next summer. This car is running, right? Let's see if there's anybody inside. Yeah, nobody. Can you imagine what a huge waste of energy this actually is? Fortunately, Russia is a country that is quite rich in oil and natural gas resources. Even the exhaust smoke freezes. That's how cold it is. There are special covers for protection. Sometimes this is not enough too. People who can afford it keep their vehicles in a heated garage. Because these vehicles are constantly...
Até que também a cidade oferece algumas garagens para estacionamento de carro com sistemas de aquecimento. Então, aquilo que foi mostrado há pouco tempo são garagens com sistema de aquecimento para que os carros não fiquem todo momento ligados.
There is a constant layer of exhaust smoke over the city. Range of visibility is often below 200 feet due to the smoke. The houses here have completely different architecture. The reason why the buildings are built on pillars is that the ground is covered with ice, and there is a possibility of ice chips. Old houses start spilling over after a decade or so because the amount of ice either increases or decreases.
Então, outro problema é aqueles prédios que estão mostrando aí agora estão a ter problemas porque a cidade é muito fria. Então, algumas infraestruturas ou pilares não estão aguentando com a temperatura da cidade, fazendo com que os prédios fiquem estragados ou desabem.
It feels like pins and needles. The worst thing that will happen is to get frostbite. Considering a refrigerator operates at about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, a freezer operates at about -4 degrees Fahrenheit. Since the temperature here is -58 degrees Fahrenheit, everywhere you can see here could function as a very high-tech freezer. That's why some people are able to store their fruits or their meat just by hanging them outside their windows. Can I make a sled?
Agora, há uma dúvida. Eu não sei se nessa cidade consegue ser usado refrigeradores ou congeladores, o que nós chamamos aqui de freezer ou congelador. Eu acho que não, porque não precisam, né? Se a cidade em si já é gelada, eu acho que não precisa ser usado aquele tipo de aparelhos ou eletrodomésticos.
Out of this? I just took off my gloves for just a minute for filming. Now, it hurts terribly. My eyelashes are frozen too. I'm trying to break the ice. Move. Move. If you would stay outside for more than 15 minutes, you would experience problems such as skin burns and difficulty in breathing. Chill that starts with a needle prick-like pain, frostbite, followed by sensation. And then it could result in death.
Só para vocês verem, aquela moça ficou muito tempo fora de casa e ficou com as mãos congeladas, por isso ela está aí chorando. É muito terrível.
She took off her gloves for just 5 minutes to film me. Her fingers instantly turned white. Our microphone is giving a red warning. It is not working properly. The camera is also not working as it should. Its cover is frozen. Our phones don't work as well. Her battery was about 10% a couple of minutes ago.
Até os telefones têm problemas de funcionamento por causa das baixas temperaturas que aquela cidade oferece.
And then it suddenly died, whereas it was actually full. What you see behind me is a cemetery. The thickness of the ice under my shoes is about 100 foot. And this ice mass under the city does not melt even in the summer. So, how do people bury the dead? They gather pieces of coal and burn them for 2 to 3 days. Once the coal is burned, the blocks of ice thaw, and it can be easily removed using shovels. Finally, the area can be excavated to a depth of 6 to 7 feet. The body of a person who died 100 or 200 years ago can be found very robust even today. 20% of the world's total diamond reserves are in Yakutsk. In addition to that, there are also all the elements in the periodic table. There are many mammoth and dinosaur fossils under the Yakutia territory. In these areas where mammoths once roamed, their intact corpses still show up as the ice melts today. In this land where people cannot engage in agriculture or farming, people eat fish. One of the most important features of this market is that they display the fish in public stalls rather than in refrigerators. Outside is much colder than any refrigerator.
Então, aquele aí é um mercado de peixe em que o próprio peixe não precisa ser estocado em frigoríficos, só para vocês verem, está ali perante ou em plena rua, assim, sem refrigeração, mas o peixe fica bem conservado porque a cidade é bem gelada.
A piece of meat left outside won't spoil for months. There are also frozen rabbits here. They are consumed a lot, including with the duck. Horse meat is also very common. It is about 45 pounds. They take this fish as a whole, put it outside, and consume it for days. This one is also on sale. It never spoils, of course. Its ears are not moving at all. How many hours do you work here per day?
Ну, мы примерно вот 8 часов.
For how long does he do this?
Уже, наверное, лет.
How many layers of clothing
Кофта. И вот такие эти. И вот.
They stand on such furs, they do not feel the cold coming to their feet. Yakutian people, who make up the majority of the population, are Turkic in origin. 38% of its population are Russian in origin.
A lei está dizendo que cerca de 70% da população daquela cidade é originária da Rússia. Por isso que a língua que se fala lá também é russo. E também disseram ali que alguns peixes, se as pessoas compram, podem deixar assim fora de casa por vários dias e serão consumidos, porque lá também pode servir como refrigerador ou frigorífico para seus peixes.
Okay, but there are only such dogs here. Unfortunately, cats cannot survive. Only mammals with a realistic fur. There are 2 layers of glass inside the car, so when the air conditioner warms the interior, it doesn't lose its temperature immediately. The scariest thing about being on the road is that people whose cars break down have a risk of dying if they cannot fix it within 30 minutes. Otherwise, engine oil under the hood freezes in minutes. If people get stranded in these rural areas with no phone signal, they have no choice but to freeze to death within a couple of hours. That's why every driver carries a toolbox in his or her car. Our journey to the village was completed with a dog sled ride. During our time on the dog sled, I nearly lost an ear that was exposed to the wind and the cold. The pain was unbearable. just accepted us to her village house. We're gonna know more about these mysterious Yakut people. Can you see it? As thick as my finger. I cannot feel it. It's quite numb. Look, my other ear is much thinner.
Horses here are much shorter than the usual horses. Their bodies are conditioned to be short. That's how they can keep themselves warmer. This surface area to worry about. They gave us their own clothes. We bundled up. You can tell by looking at the frozen boat that we're walking on a frozen lake. We try to hit it at a 90-degree angle. We just drill a 20 to 25-inch diameter hole. Cows will come and meet their water needs. We're constantly removing the ice. How long it takes for this water to again completely cover with ice?
In 1 hour.
Cows in this village are always kept in the barn in winter.
They do, of course. That's why they don't get much time outside.
What's exactly?
Your ear got frostbitten. If it lasted longer, it will be very dangerous.
They will have to cut it, right?
If they cannot save it, they can cut it because the cells are dead. For your ear, it's a traditional Yakut medicine, fat of bear.
Bear?
Yeah, my father took it from hunters.
Oh.
Yes, this will help frostbitten and also if you burn it.
If you look at it from behind, you'll see it more clearly. It is seriously swollen, and they call it frostbite. I will probably have risked my entire...
Então, ela está dando um medicamento tradicional que serve para quando a pessoa fica inchada, como assim está ele, e sente que a orelha está a ficar bem quente, deve ser dado para esfregar, para atenuar ali a quentura ou o inchaço.
Entire ear, if I had been in the cold for more than 15 minutes. The nature has no joke here. What's the coldest temperature you have ever witnessed?
The coldest temperature is -71 Celsius.
What is cold for you?
If I have good clothes, if I have enough clothes, before -40 is not real winter temperature for me. -41, -48, it's fine. Below -48, it's cold, and below -52, it's very cold. And every degree feels. The funny thing is, cold weather feels like fire, like burning.
Yeah, that's true. Now my ear is burning.
Yeah.
I feel it's so hot.
Sometimes people drink too much and they fall asleep somewhere outside. And one night outside, some people didn't have proper clothes and they went to the woods and their car broke down. They couldn't call someone because no phone service. Yeah, and it ended.
What do you think about nature?
Deu para ver que quase toda a floresta ficou toda com neve ou coberta de neve ali.
Lifestyle of Yakut people, of Saha people, is taking care of nature, respecting it. Early childhood.
Eu não sei se um africano conseguiria sobreviver nesta cidade, porque as temperaturas que nós temos na África são muito diferentes desse lado do planeta.
Me and my family, we used to go to the woods to fish, to hunt. It's just a part of our life. And we always remember that we are not the owners of this land. We are just guests. For example, we always make a ritual. When we go to pick some berries, we always take a little food with us. We leave it on the ground and say, nature, please share with us. Please give us some food. It's for the master of that land, for the spirit.
You believe nature has a spirit?
Yeah. For example, when we go to the forest, you shouldn't speak loud because you can disturb the spirits. You shouldn't drink there, have fun there, throw the garbage. Don't disturb, don't destroy. Yakut religion is not something which is written in a book or there is a church. There is one center of our religion, but it's not something that, in other religions that we do every day. We should pray. We don't do something like that. But it's in our mind. It's in our lifestyle. And it's all related to nature.
For what we have, you thank nature instead of God.
The gods are nature. Yeah. Our gods are like part of the nature.
Now I understand.
Yeah.
Why don't you migrate to south, where it's warmer? Because living in these temperatures is like torture.
It's a torture for you, but not for us. The first reason is my family. Like, my family is here, and for me, the best is to be close to my parents, to my brothers. And secondly, I like the nature here. It's very pure. Like, the ecology is very pure, and it's for me and for my future children, breathing fresh air. It's very important. Third, because of our culture, I want to preserve our language, our traditions, and give them to the next generations.
You could have summers as well. In July, the average daily temperature is about 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Due to global warming, ice mass, our world is melting, and mammoth corpses are coming out. But also, viruses fighting for thousands of years, which modern humans have never met before, can come to light. When Europeans migrated to North America, the flu they took with themselves to the continent killed most of the Native Americans who had been isolated for centuries. The flu didn't kill us because our immune system was strong. Similarly, ancient diseases to which we are not immune can come to light with the melting of the ice in these regions of the world and have devastating consequences. Thank you for watching. This video was the first episode of a travel documentary series called Rediscovery. I go to unique places which are not known to many and make a documentary